I'm so excited to be participating in an ESO 101. My name is Konstantine Kurelias, and I support the communications team at the Winspear and Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. And joining me today for ESO 101 is...
Ronda Metszies.
Ronda, what do you play? What do you do at the ESO?
I play God's instrument, Konstantine.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
The most important instrument. Got it. Okay.
For those of you who are not clear what a cello is, a violin is like a small cello, just so you know.
So we're getting all the facts here today with this ESO 101, for anyone who doesn't know. So I'll start out with some of these questions that we have for you today. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How long have you been with the ESO?
I believe I'm on my 15th, perhaps 16th season.
What is your pre-concert ritual?
It's really funny because when I was in music school, I used to daydream what it would be like, you know, to be in an orchestra or to have a career performing. And I imagined there'd be beautiful, quiet afternoons full of cups of mint tea and meditation, careful preparation. But the reality is, you know, when you've got a family at home, a lot of the times you're picking people up from school, dropping them at events, you know, making meals, running around, getting things done. There's one thing that is really, as much as possible, a part of my routine, which is I try to have a nap in the afternoon when we have a concert in the evening, only because with a family getting up at 7 in the morning, by 10 at night, when you're supposed to have your A game out, it's really hard if you haven't had some kind of rest during the day. So as much as possible, I try to have a nap, and other than that, it's pretty much a scramble.
What's something people might not know about you?
Well, one thing that maybe makes me a little different from some of my colleagues is that when I was a student, like in high school, I grew up in Edmonton, and as a student, I did not spend my summers in music schools or music camps. I spent my summers in southern Alberta, working at a guest ranch as a wrangler and taking people horseback riding in the foothills of the Rockies, which I would not trade for anything in the world. As much as it would have been really cool to be part of some of the other summer programs, it was such a formative time in my life. And it was just a magical, magical way to spend all my summers.
How many different cities have you lived in?
I think 7 or 8 for sure. Like sometimes it's been, I don't know if you count it living in if you're there for 4 or 5 months. I would say that counts as living in them. Yeah. So my studies and just life in general took me all over the place. I grew up in Edmonton, but I studied in Victoria at University of Victoria, which is a great little music school, and then moved to Germany after I graduated and studied there for a couple of years. And I kept getting slingshotted back to Edmonton, lived in Montreal for a little bit, in Toronto for a little bit, and then in Los Angeles for a couple of years, and then finally back to Edmonton again. So whatever that total is.
What is your favorite city you've traveled to and why?
You know, it's really hard to choose one favorite city. Perhaps would be Berlin, but I haven't been there for a long time. I was supposed to go next summer with the Obsessions Octet on tour. And of course, like everything else, our tour has been canceled. But when I went years ago, and this is really dating me, it was right after the wall had fallen. And I thought the city was just remarkable. It felt like a sort of a living museum of 20th century history, with still parts of the city still with relics from the Kaiser era. And, you know, there was still bullet holes in East Berlin in the buildings from the Second World War. And then there's the whole East-West divide thing in the Cold War, and it just had everything going on. And it was so dynamic and kind of gritty, which I like in a city.
Do you have a nickname?
Yes, I probably have a few nicknames, but my favorite one from my childhood, I was always known as Rondaroo.
Rondaroo!
Rondaroo, yes.
What do you do in your free time?
I love gardening. I love reading. I'm a big reader. I love being outside. I love camping, mostly outdoorsy kind of things as much as possible. Kind of like that. I'm trying to think if there's anything more interesting than that. That's pretty much it. I'm ready.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Pancake or waffle?
Waffle.
Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Cats or dogs?
Yes. Both.
Dine in or take out?
Dine in.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
PC or Mac?
Mac.
Morning or night?
Morning.
Call or text?
Text.
Beethoven or Mozart?
Beethoven.
Schubert or Dvorak?
Dvorak.
Tchaikovsky or Rachmaninoff?
Tchaikovsky.
Book or movie?
Book.
Mountain or ocean?
Ocean.
Wine or beer?
Both.
Musical or opera?
Opera.
Star Wars or Star Trek? Thank you so much for participating in this ESO 101.
Okay, that was not too hard. Whew.